The darkness of deep space was not empty. Faint streaks of blue and violet light glimmered across the endless void. Dancing on the edges of a distant nebula, the massive human warship Valiant drifted through the cold expanse, its hull gleaming like a steel predator ready for anything. On board, the crew moved with a mix of routine precision and silent anticipation, aware that this journey could change everything they knew about the galaxy. Captain Renik Varro stood at the observation deck, his sharp green eyes scanning the star-strewn horizon. He was a man forged in conflict, his mind as tactical as any computer aboard the ship. Behind him, Lieutenant Kira Solon adjusted the ship's sensor array, her slender fingers dancing over holographic controls. She was brilliant, quick-witted, and fiercely loyal. "Captain, picking up something at coordinates 742 to 913, she reported, voice calm but tinged with intrigue. The readings were unlike any known object cataloged by human or allied space fleets. "Show me," Renik said. The main view screen flickered, revealing a dark, jagged silhouette. It pulsed faintly with a strange inner light. It was alive or something like it. The alien vessel defied conventional shapes, an angular nightmare wrapped in shadows. Its surface scarred by battles unseen. No known species had technology like this, yet there it was, moving with purpose. Chief Engineer Talon Juro leaned over the console. "I'm scanning it, Captain. Hull composition is complex. Biometallic layering, reinforced energy shields. Life signs are minimal, but it's active. Could be sentient, could be a weapon." Renik narrowed his eyes. "Prepare first contact protocols. No aggression unless absolutely necessary. I want all frequencies open for communication. And keep weapons on standby. I don't intend to underestimate whatever this is." The crew worked in tense synchronization, sending carefully structured messages in multiple bands, each designed to demonstrate peaceful intent. For long moments, the alien ship did nothing. It hovered like a shadow, observing silently. Then a ripple of energy signaled the first response. A voice, strange and resonant, echoed across the communications array. "This is Captain Lyra Venik of the Shard Vale," it said. "Identify yourselves." Renik exhaled slowly. He had faced hostile forces, rogue marauders, and cosmic storms. But this was different. "I am Captain Renik Varro of the HSS Valiant. We come in peace, representing humanity from the planet Earth." The alien ship shifted slightly, and a holographic image materialized. It was unlike anything human eyes had ever seen. The being appeared tall, elongated, with iridescent skin that shimmered with internal light. Its many limbs moved gracefully, each gesture communicating subtle intention. Its eyes, numerous and multifaceted, studied the humans with unrelenting focus. Lieutenant Solon whispered beside Renik, "Captain, their tech is advanced, but their weapon signatures are inconsistent. It's like they've fought, but not for conquest, more like survival." "Noted," Renik replied. "Stay alert. This could go either way." For hours, the two vessels maintained a delicate dance. Humanity's curiosity was mirrored by caution, while the alien ship seemed to test boundaries, scanning every movement, every flicker of energy. Finally, a new message came through, slower, deliberate, as if the being were carefully choosing words. "Humans," it said, "you have traveled far for a fledgling race. Your vessel is armored beyond necessity. Why do you bear such instruments of destruction?" Renik felt a chill run down his spine. The aliens were perceptive, too perceptive. He gestured to Talon Juro, who activated a tactical overlay on the main screen. "Captain, the readings are correct. The Valiant is optimized for warfare, but also for endurance. We have survived encounters that should have destroyed us." "Then they will understand us," Renik muttered. "Prepare a secure channel. I will speak to them personally." The holographic figure of Captain Lyra Venik shimmered again as Renik's voice transmitted. "We are explorers," he said. "Yet our history has been written in conflict. Our ships endure and our people endure because survival demanded it. We do not seek war, but we cannot run from it either." A pause followed. Then the alien captain's voice, tinged with curiosity, asked, "Then tell us of these conflicts. Why have you endured?" Renik's mind raced. This was an opportunity not just for diplomacy, but to show humanity's resilience. "We have fought because our worlds demanded it. But we continue forward because we choose to explore, to connect, to understand. Every scar on our hull tells the story of survival, but every crew member aboard this ship tells the story of hope." The alien captain tilted its head, a gesture that Renik interpreted as thoughtful. "We will observe you," Lyra Venik said. "Show us this hope, human." Renik glanced at his crew, feeling the weight of responsibility. They were not just emissaries, they were representatives of all human potential, the embodiment of tenacity and courage. As the Valiant held position near the alien vessel, a quiet determination settled over the bridge. Lieutenant Solon whispered again, "Captain, this is the moment we were trained for. First contact, not just with another species, but with the unknown." "Exactly," Renik replied, "and whatever comes next, we face it together." As the two ships hovered in the nebula's edge, bathed in the faint glow of distant stars, humanity's presence in the galaxy became undeniable. A fragile bridge of trust was forming, and the story of survival, resilience, and discovery had only just begun. The silence of space was no longer empty. It was alive with possibility. The nebula's faint glow reflected on the Valiant's hull, painting the ship in hues of violet and silver. Inside, the crew moved with a heightened sense of awareness. The alien vessel, now identified as the Shard Veil, drifted like a silent predator, its multifaceted sensors scanning every corner of the human ship. Captain Renik Varro stood at the observation deck, his posture rigid, yet his mind raced. The moment of curiosity had passed, now came the moment of understanding. "Captain, they're emitting bursts of energy," Lieutenant Kira Solon reported, her fingers dancing over the control panels. "Not weapons fire, but something like a scan pulse. They're mapping our hull, analyzing every subsystem. They're learning," Renik nodded slowly. "Let them. Knowledge is the first step toward trust, or the first step toward understanding how dangerous we can be. Chief Engineer Juro, double-check all defensive systems. I want shields at full, but no provocative energy signatures." Talon Juro's fingers flew over the holographic controls. "Shields are online, Captain. Weapons are cold, but all redundancies are functional. They won't catch us off guard." The Shard Veil pulsed again, this time with a low hum that resonated through the Valiant's hull. The human crew felt it more than they heard it, a vibration that hinted at immense power, a silent message. "We see you." Then came the transmission. The alien captain's voice was calm, almost melodic, yet it carried an unmistakable edge. "Humans," Lyra Venik said, "your vessel is resilient yet primitive in many ways. Your life forms have endured by adapting, not by evolving past danger. Why continue this path? Why risk yourselves among stars you barely comprehend?" Renik's jaw tightened. He had prepared for questions about diplomacy, for curiosity, but not for judgment. Yet he spoke steadily. "Because the stars are not just for the cautious. They are for those willing to reach beyond fear. Humanity survives because we do not stop moving. We do not stop learning. And we do not stop fighting, not for conquest, but for the chance to endure and connect." The alien's many eyes seemed to study him even more intently, flickering in the low light. "Observe then," Lyra Venik said. "We will see if your actions match your words." Renik felt a ripple of tension sweep the bridge. Suddenly, multiple unidentified signatures appeared on the sensors, small, fast-moving vessels emerging from the nebula, surrounding both the Valiant and the Shard Veil. "Captain," Lieutenant Solon exclaimed, "we've got hostiles. Multiple contacts, high velocity. They're armed." Renik's mind raced. This was unexpected. The Shard Veil had not warned them of a threat, yet the presence of the new vessel suggested that the aliens were part of a larger militarized force. "Brace for evasive maneuvers," he ordered. "This is not a drill. All hands battle stations." The Valiant's hull vibrated as the first volley of energy pulses struck nearby, not hitting directly but close enough to make the ship shudder. The crew's training kicked in instantly. Shields flared, countermeasures launched, and tactical displays lit up with blinking red markers. Chief Engineer Juro's voice cut through the chaos. "Captain, hull integrity holding at 98%. Our weapons can return fire, but they're faster than anything we've faced before." Renik knew they had no choice but to fight intelligently, coordinate with the Shard Veil. "We cannot survive piecemeal. Synchronize energy signatures for maximum effect." To his surprise, the alien captain's image appeared on the tactical screen. "Humans," Lyra Venik said, "we will fight alongside you, but know this. Our enemies do not recognize mercy. Survival will demand everything you possess." Renik gritted his teeth. "We have faced worse odds before. Let's show them what humans can do." The battle began in earnest. The Valiant's weapon systems fired with surgical precision, targeting enemy vectors while maintaining defensive coverage. The Shard Veil responded in kind, its biometallic hull flexing as it absorbed and redirected energy pulses. Together they formed an uneasy alliance of necessity. Lieutenant Solin's voice cut in sharply. Captain, they're adapting. The hostiles are changing attack patterns in real time. If we don't anticipate, we'll be overwhelmed. Renik made a rapid calculation, pulling from years of strategy and instinct. Talon, reroute auxiliary power to the forward shields. I want overlapping arcs. Kiri, initiate predictive targeting based on their maneuvers. We hit where they can't react. The human crew moved like a single organism, the synergy between man and machine creating fluid, almost artistic motions in the chaos of war. For the first time, the Shard Veil seemed impressed. Lyra Vennick's voice resonated over the comms, a mixture of surprise and respect. Humans, your resilience exceeds expectation. Your tactical intuition is unique. Hours passed, though to the crew it felt like moments. The enemy vessels began to retreat, faltering under the combined human-alien tactics. The nebula's soft light now shone over the wreckage of hostile ships, scattered like shattered stars. The Valiant and the Shard Veil floated in quiet triumph, the hum of their shields and engines the only sound. Renik exhaled slowly, feeling the weight of what they had survived. Damage report, he ordered. Chief Engineer Juro's voice was steady, though tired. Minimal hull breaches. Auxiliary systems functioning. Shields took most of the impact. No casualties. Renik nodded, a small smile breaking through his serious demeanor. Prepare communication to the Shard Veil. We need to establish trust. This was only the first test. The alien captain's hologram appeared, flickering with soft blue light. Humans, Lyra Vennick said. You have shown us strength, but also the potential for alliance. We will learn from each other, if you are willing. Rennick's eyes met those of his crew. They had faced the unknown and survived, not just by firepower, but by strategy, adaptability, and unity. We are willing, he said. Not just to survive, but to understand. The nebula around them seemed to shimmer with possibility. The first conflict was over, but the real journey, the journey of exploration, of trust, and of discovering the unknown, was only beginning. As the Valiant and Shard Veil prepared to move deeper into the nebula together, Renik looked out at the stars. Somewhere beyond, new challenges awaited, but humanity had proven once more that it could face the void with courage, intelligence, and unyielding spirit. The battle had ended, but the story was far from over. Alliances had been tested, new paths opened, and the galaxy itself seemed to hold its breath, waiting to see what humanity would do next. The nebula had quieted. The shattered remnants of hostile ships drifted like silent monuments to the battle that had just ended. Aboard the Valiant, the crew moved among the aftermath with a mix of relief and exhaustion. The adrenaline was fading, leaving space for reflection. Captain Renik Varro stood at the observation deck, staring into the stars. The vast expanse of the galaxy stretched before him, endless and indifferent, yet full of possibility. Lieutenant Kira Solin joined him quietly, her usual energetic demeanor replaced with thoughtful stillness. Captain, she said softly, I keep thinking about the Shard Veil, about Lyra Vennick. They studied us the way we study new life forms, but not out of fear, out of curiosity. They didn't expect humanity to fight the way we do. Renik nodded, eyes never leaving the stars. We fight not because we want to dominate, but because we refuse to be stopped. It's instinct, yes, but also something deeper. It's a desire to endure, to explore, to prove that we can face the unknown without surrendering ourselves. Science Officer Talon Juro approached, her hands still glowing faintly from running diagnostics on the ship's systems. Captain, the Shard Veil, they want to learn from us, and I think in their own way we've learned from them too. Not just strategy or technology, but perspective. Seeing the universe through someone else's eyes changes the way you move through it. Renik finally turned to face his crew, their expressions a mixture of fatigue and awe. Tonight, he said, voice steady, we did more than survive a battle. We demonstrated that humanity can meet the void and stand strong. Not alone, but with allies we've only just begun to understand. There will be challenges ahead, harder than this one, but every step forward proves something vital. Courage, intelligence, and trust can carry us farther than fear ever could. The crew felt it too. A bond had formed, not just between humans, but with the Shard Veil. A living reminder that even across unimaginable differences, connection was possible. Cultural Officer Lysaea Marin, normally reserved and methodical, spoke up. I think we've learned that true strength isn't just measured in weapons or shields. It's measured in resilience, adaptability, and in the courage to extend your hand to the unknown, even when that hand might be rejected. Renik smiled faintly. Exactly. And that's the lesson we carry back into the galaxy. Every ship we build, every world we visit, every new encounter, those are opportunities. Opportunities to endure, to grow, and to remind ourselves that humanity does not shy away from the impossible. The human-alien alliance had survived the first trial by fire, but it was more than a strategic victory. It was a demonstration of what could happen when two species chose understanding over suspicion, cooperation over retreat. The Shard Veil's captain had said it simply: observe humans and learn. Yet what Lyra Venik and her crew learned was mirrored in what humanity had absorbed, that the universe was vast. Yes, but connection could make it navigable. As the Valiant moved through the nebula, sensors quietly scanning for any remaining threats, Renik reflected on what lay ahead. Humanity's journey was far from complete. The galaxy was filled with mysteries, some beautiful, some terrifying. But now they had proof. When courage and intelligence combine, when unity and trust guide decisions, the impossible becomes achievable. Lieutenant Solon looked at Renik and whispered almost to herself, "We're just getting started, aren't we?" "Yes," he replied, a soft but firm smile on his face. "And we will continue. Every challenge, every battle, every unknown horizon, humanity will face it head-on. We will explore, we will endure, and we will inspire others to do the same. That is our legacy, and it is only beginning." The Shard Veil remained nearby, a silent partner in the quiet aftermath. Renik considered the alien captain's words again, realizing that trust had been earned not through negotiation, but through action. "We've fought, we've survived, and we've connected," he said aloud. "And that is worth more than any weapon or technology in the galaxy." As the nebula faded behind them, giving way to the open black of deep space, the crew of the Valiant felt something shift within themselves. They were explorers, warriors, and diplomats all at once. Their courage, their unity, and their willingness to face the unknown had changed not only the outcome of this battle, but the trajectory of human history among the stars. Renik looked out at the distant points of light, each one a potential world, a potential challenge, a potential ally. "We are human," he said quietly, "and that is enough. Enough to survive, enough to endure, and enough to inspire everything we touch." In that moment, humanity's place in the galaxy felt both fragile and eternal. The Valiant and the Shard Veil continued onward together, a symbol that even in the darkest reaches of space, cooperation, courage, and the refusal to give up could create a light that no nebula could dim. The story of this first encounter, the first alliance, and the first human triumph beyond known space would ripple across the stars. And for every viewer listening, it was a reminder: no matter how vast the universe, bravery, curiosity, and unity can carry you farther than fear ever could. And as the Valiant disappeared into the vastness, the final thought lingered in every mind aboard. The stars were not the limit, they were the beginning. The Valiant drifted through the calm of space, the echoes of the recent battle fading behind them. Outside the observation window, distant stars shimmered, tiny lights against the endless black canvas of the galaxy. Captain Renik Varro stood with his crew, every one of them carrying the weight and pride of what had just been accomplished. Lieutenant Kira Solon spoke first, her voice carrying a mixture of relief and wonder. "I never imagined we'd face an entire alien fleet and not only survive, but change how they see us." Science Officer Talon Juro nodded, her eyes reflecting the starlight. They underestimated humanity's ingenuity and resilience, but more importantly, they've learned something about us beyond combat. They've seen our determination, our ability to adapt, and our willingness to take risks for the sake of survival and discovery. Renik's gaze swept across his crew. "Humanity isn't defined by our weapons or our ships. It's defined by our choices. Today we made a choice to meet the unknown with courage, to fight when necessary, but also to extend a hand when possible. We've proven that even in the vastness of space, our spirit endures." Cultural Officer Lysaea Marin added softly, "And that endurance inspires others. The Shard Veil now knows that humans can be both fierce and honorable. We've earned their respect, and in doing so, we've gained allies for the challenges yet to come." The crew walked silently toward the ship's central deck, where memorial plaques honored their fallen. Each name a reminder of sacrifice, each story a testament to courage. The memory of those lost in the battle weighed heavily. Yet the crew felt a sense of purpose stronger than grief. Renik touched one plaque, tracing the engraving with his fingers. They gave us this moment, and we honor them by moving forward. Our journey is far from over, and we will carry their legacy into every star we reach. Lieutenant Solon turned to the captain, a small smile on her face. Do you think they'll come back? The Shard Veil? Renik's eyes met hers, steady and determined. Yes, they'll return, not as enemies, but as partners, and when they do, humanity will be ready, stronger, wiser, and more united than ever. What we've built here, the trust, the courage, the understanding, that is what will define us, not the battles we fight, but the alliances we forge, Science Officer Juro added, and think of the lessons we've learned. Our ships, our technology, our strategy will evolve faster because of this encounter, not just to survive, but to thrive. Humanity will shape the galaxy in ways no one could have imagined. Renik turned back to the observation window, gazing into the infinite night. Every star is a story waiting to be written, every world a lesson waiting to be learned. And every choice we make echoes further than we can see. The universe is vast, but it is ours to explore, with courage, wisdom, and unity as our guides. The crew stood together, a quiet sense of triumph filling the room. The battle had been won, but more than that, they had earned a place in the galaxy not through fear or domination, but through resilience, intelligence, and the willingness to face the unknown. As the Valiant sailed forward, leaving the nebula behind, Captain Renik spoke once more, his voice carrying across the ship. Remember this moment. The galaxy is full of mysteries, but no matter the darkness or danger, humanity will shine. We endure, we adapt, we connect, and we will inspire anyone who encounters us to do the same. Lieutenant Solon looked at the stars one last time before turning to her captain. Then let's go. There are more worlds to see, more challenges to meet, and more stories to write. Renik smiled, a quiet fire in his eyes. Exactly. And humanity will meet them all together. The Valiant moved onward, a lone beacon in the endless night, carrying the strength, courage, and hope of an entire species. Behind them, the Shard Veil observed silently, a promise of future cooperation and understanding glimmering in the distance. The first contact, the first battle, and the first alliance had reshaped not only the galaxy's balance, but humanity's destiny among the stars. In the quiet aftermath, the crew knew one truth above all else. The universe is vast, unpredictable, and full of challenges, but humanity, united and fearless, would always endure. Every star, every planet, every encounter was an opportunity to grow, to inspire, and to prove that courage and wisdom are the true weapons of a species that refuses to be forgotten. The story of the Valiant, of Captain Renik Varro, and the humans who dared to face the unknown would echo across the galaxy. It was not just a tale of war or survival. It was a story of connection, resilience, and hope. For every viewer listening, it was a reminder. No matter how vast the universe, bravery, unity, and the refusal to give up can light the darkest spaces and turn the impossible into reality. The stars waited, and humanity was ready.